Hello beauties! This is the second video of the trilogy about what spiraling over Jungkook awakened in me. That morning, I woke up light, joyful, exuberant, and yet deeply still. There was no reason for it, no achievement, no external change. Just the unmistakable glow that settles in when you've touched something true. The afterglow. I smiled as I got out of bed, put on my favorite outfit, ready for a morning forest walk. But first, a short trip to the supermarket. From the moment I stepped outside, I felt it. The air was dense and graceful, like silk suspended in light. The breeze embraced me with its caresses. It knew me. It whispered memories only my soul understood. Smiling, I entered the supermarket, quietly enchanted by the world I was walking through. Unaware, people sensed something was going on. They looked out of habit, but also seemingly touched by something they could not grasp. They stared at me with wondering eyes. Who is she? Why is she glowing? I wandered through the aisles, picked up what my mother had asked for, fried chicken and meatballs. The bag was greasy, so I barely touched it. I let it slide into my shopping bag, only to take it out again at the checkout. He wasn't the usual cashier. I hadn't seen him before. And this one was present, still, attentive, aware. I had felt his gaze earlier from a distance. But now, when he noticed my slight discomfort, he offered me a tissue. No words, just presence, and highly uncommon, which is why my awareness heightened on the spot. I whipped the grease off my finger, folded the tissue, planning to throw it away on my way out. But he gently reached again. I can throw that away for you, miss. And in that simple gesture, I knew this wasn't random. This was euphoric divine intimacy. Just like that, in a corner street supermarket in my little hometown. I handed him the tissue, then the money. His hand paused for a longer touch of my hand, both when he received it and when he gave me back the change. In that small pause, the presence of eternal entered. Our souls met, not our personalities. Not as strangers, but as two sparks of the same eternal fire, divine spirit. It wasn't seduction, it wasn't performance. It was stillness, shared. Maybe he didn't have words for it, maybe he didn't need them, but he felt it. And I, having lived through this frequency before, could recognize it. My heightened awareness held the space. My sensual glow gave the rhythm. His presence completed the dance. And suddenly, the entire world expanded. My mind didn't spiral into delusion. It opened into mystery. I knew we most likely would never see each other again. And I also knew that turning this moment into a casual coffee or tea date would only diminish what we had already touched. And we had touched the eternal. At this point in my life, I don't long for normal romance. What calls me in is this: to live open to the sacred in the everyday, to find ecstasy in the mundane, to feel the divine not through drama, but through stillness. When euphoric divine intimacy arises, the mind becomes vast, the sky becomes the point of view. And in that vastness, healing begins. Fulfillment enters. Not because we've gained something, but because we've stopped chasing. We have remembered. And that remembering, that dissolving of the separation between who we are and who we think we are, is where true freedom begins. It's what our soul longs for, to move ungrasped by the ego, to rest in presence, to taste the sacred in a glance, in a smile, in a touch. Intense stillness becomes the sanctuary of pure love, where the most electric union happens, not just with another, but with God, through the world. And if we are blessed to walk this path with another soul, to share the dance in form, what a grace! But it isn't required, because this is not about another. It's about perspective. It's about how we meet life. It happens in the metro, through the electric glance exchange, where physical distance becomes the thread to intimate connection. It happens in a checkout line, through the soft touch of hands while handing over the money. It happens in the conscious conversation with the taxi driver that sets the mind at rest, contemplating the exchange magnetism. This is Euphoric Divine Intimacy, a love letter from God, woven into the fabric of the mundane, waiting to be read. And the one reading it is you, word by word, moment by moment. This is the afterglow. This second video is my perspective. I'll share what this state of euphoric divine intimacy actually feels like from the inside. Another real life example where I found myself fully immersed in this state, not in a fantasy, but in the sacredness of everyday life. There is a third video as well, where I will take you deeper. I will share what my spiritual research led me to discover, including powerful insights from Tibetan Buddhism about Deity Yoga, the nature of the mind, creative imagination, and how we form inner idols. Not to worship them, but to awaken through them and become who we truly are. What if such intense connections are part of something sacred that we are in touch with while living our mundane lives? So, if this touches you in some way, please watch the next video as well. And I'd love to hear your perspective if you want to share it in the comments.